Okay, today we're going to talk about how to manage felt recoil. And managing felt recoil doesn't mean that you can shoot a 44 Magnum or a 460 Smith & Wesson Magnum handgun without dropping the gun. That just means you're shooting without dropping the gun. It doesn't mean that you're actually managing the recoil. If you could manage recoil, what that means is you can take aim with your pistol, fire a shot, and move nothing but your finger and fire a second shot, and that second bullet should go very close to where the first bullet went. It means your gun's returning to the point of aim. The gun's not walking around in your hand. You don't have to adjust your grip. You don't have to climb back on your grip. That's what it means to be able to manage the recoil of a pistol when you shoot it. Now, felt recoil is a combination of bullet weight, the powder charge, how powerful it is. Those two combined results in the velocity of the bullet. So the weight of the bullet combined with how fast it's going, combined with the weight of the gun, combined with extra weight. We're going to talk about what extra weight is in just a minute. And I'm also going to give you a technique that I haven't seen in any of the videos that I've seen on this. And I've watched a lot of these videos on how to manage recoil, how to use the proper grip, and so forth. And this technique I'm going to show you, I haven't heard. I'm not saying it's not on there anywhere, but I haven't found it. I've watched a lot of these videos over the years, so hang in there for that. So, understanding now what felt recoil is, it's a combination of the weight of the bullet, the powder charge, and the weight of the gun. Because a heavier gun is going to recoil less. You're going to feel less recoil the heavier the gun is. So sometimes the hardest guns to shoot are the small guns. And I see a lot of times a woman will select a very small, cute little pink gun as a personal gun that she wants to have. And it actually can be very hard to shoot because the gun is too small. So it's not just how powerful the charge is and how big the bullet is, it's how heavy the gun is. Heavier guns are much easier to shoot. Okay, so the question comes up, is it possible to shoot a pistol that shoots a full power load and yet there's very little recoil felt by the shooter? And the answer is yes. In competition, there's something called a open division race gun that it's a heavier than normal gun, and it has a compensator, a weight on the end of the barrel. It's also ported to redirect the gases to balance out the recoil, and those guns are set up to feel very little recoil even though they shoot a full power load. But those aren't practical for everyday carry because they're overly large, overly heavy. They're just for competing. So then what does a person do if you want to learn to manage recoil the way I described, so you can shoot at least 2 shots without readjusting the sights, without climbing back on the gun or anything? That's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so we're going to talk about how you go about that with more of a stock gun. It's a combination of grip technique, grip pressure, and strength, and traction between your hands, and also traction on the gun. Between the strong hand and the gun is a different level of traction which you must have. So it's 2 forms of traction. It's traction between your 2 hands and traction between the gun hand and the gun. I should be demonstrating on a gun, I guess. Talking about traction where skin is on skin, that kind of traction here, and then also traction between the gun hand and the gun itself. So you need all that traction. You cannot slip around. You do not want to be, again, what I was saying, if you have to adjust your grip, climb back on the gun. If you shoot 2 or 3 times and you got to readjust, it's because that gun's moving around in your hand. You can't have any movement. Your hand has to be firmly attached to that gun. Okay, the goal, again, like I've said before, the goal is to get the sights to return to the point of aim. Okay, a lot of people think, and some people consider that recoil management means that the muzzle moves very little. It's just boom, 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 returns right back with moving hardly at all. Well, that's great, but really what matters is where the bullets are going to go. I mean, if you're holding the gun really steady, but your bullets, who knows where your bullets are going to end up, you know. If you do it right, the gun doesn't move much, but what's most important is that the muzzle comes down and returns right to that same point of aim. So that's the goal that I'm going to try to demonstrate for you today. Now, we talked about extra weight and added weight, and I mentioned a little bit of that as far as in a competition gun, they're designed with extra weight. This gun is a Carry Optics USPSA style competition gun for USPSA. It's not an open gun like I was saying. It doesn't have the weight on the end of the barrel and the compensator, but it's intentionally designed to have extra weight. It's a SIG 320 Legion model, and it does have a little bit extra weight in the grip frame, and that makes it a little bit easier to shoot. Now, another form of adding weight to the gun is actually when you grip the gun. If you grip the gun properly and it's not moving around in your hands, you've effectively attached weight. You've attached extra weight to the gun. Okay, the weight of your hands, the weight of your forearms, to a certain extent some of the weight of your upper body, but you're going to flex here just a little bit. So at least this weight is attached to the gun, and because of that, larger people that grip the gun firmly can manage recoil easier than a lighter person. And an extreme example would be a woman that's really tiny, the skinny arms, the small hands. You know, even if she clamps down hard, she's really not attaching that much weight to the gun compared to a big strong man. You know, so that's just something it's harder for a woman to shoot like that unless she's a big woman. The grip technique. Okay, I'm going to show you the proper technique that all the videos say, all the professionals say to shoot like this. Okay, so you want to get your strong hand as high on the grip as possible, under the beaver tail if you have one. The weak hand, you want to fit into this space, get as much flesh on the gun as you can. You want to lock your wrist down, especially your left wrist. And the whole idea is to prevent the gun from rocking too far out of control. That's the proper grip technique. I do recommend everybody do that. I think it's the best way to go. I've tried that for years, and it never really came together for me. And I experimented with this over a number of years. And the technique that I came up with, that I use, is instead of gripping like this, I pinch my thumb. Now they all say don't do this, but it works much better for me because I can't, when I lock my wrist down, I seem to lose all the strength in my arms, and I almost have to go full out like this. This is just a lot more natural when I trap my thumb and I pinch my thumb, and that allows me to pinch across here with this knuckle. I can pinch everything up high on the grip, which is important, and it works extremely well for me. So if the conventional grip, if you've worked on it at length and it's not working for you, you might want to try that. Now, I will say this, your hand's going to want to slip right in here unless it's extremely clean. You can't have any lotion on your hands or anything. And I like to use a grip enhancing substance if I know I'm going to go shooting. But I can shoot it without it. Like in the self-defense scenario, I've tested myself. Run an ice cold with just clean hands with my carry gun, which this isn't, and I can pull up and shoot. I can't shoot as effective as I can in competition with this gun and with the grip enhancing stuff on there, but I can still do it. So this is a grip that works for me. This is the grip you should try and start with, like this, with no gaps, as much flesh on the gun as possible, exerting as much force on the gun as possible. And there's a lot of discussion on that. Should you do more strong hand, weak hand? I squeeze as hard as I can with both hands. That's what I do, and it works for me. So I think to a certain extent you have to find your own way when it comes to figuring out how to manage the recoil, because everybody isn't built the same way, you know. So this is what I had to do. Okay, so grip technique, figure out a grip technique and be consistent about it. Okay, grip pressure. You want to use as much pressure as you can. Grip strength is important. If you have a weak grip and you're slipping and sliding around on the gun, you're never going to get anywhere. You know, you don't ever want to have to climb back on the gun. I've said this before, but you need to be able to just stay right where you are shot after shot without adjusting your grip. So building strength is extremely important. And young people can use the grip springs. You know, that'll strengthen your grip a lot. As you get older, what happens when you use those springs is that you build these muscles, the flexor muscles that close the grip. And those muscles become very strong, and then that pulls these muscles on the back of the arm where they're attached to the elbow back here, can pull those muscles and start to damage those muscles. You'll start having a lot of pain in your forearms and stuff. And there's ways to try to counteract that with, they have these bands that you buy to open your grip. You know, I tried those. They didn't work very good. You can try using weights, maybe do like a reverse curl or something. And that didn't work very good for me. So what worked best for me, as I got older, and I wanted to maintain as much grip strength as I could, as I hang from a pull-up bar with one hand each day. Put all my body weight on one hand. I run a stopwatch, and I try to do it for at least a minute. And when I'm really in shape, I've done it for a minute and a half on each arm. It's important to have both arms strong, but that works good because it builds the strength in the grip. It also stretches all these muscles. And so when I started doing that, then all this pain in my elbows went away, because you're stretching the muscle as you're strengthening it. So I highly recommend that technique if you want to build strength in your form, especially if you're an older person. So that's how to build strength. It also teaches you, it kind of, when you do that like every day or every other day, it kind of, you get in the habit of just hanging there for a minute and just keeping that grip rock solid tight. And that's good when you shoot. You don't want to think about, oh, I need to tighten my grip more, I got to hold it tight, I need to not loosen it. When you do that every day, it's natural to just clamp that thing down and leave it. So that's the other reason why I think that hanging from the pull-up bar worked good. So we've covered grip pressure, grip technique, pressure and strength building, strength maintenance. Traction between the hands is I think I mentioned you gotta have clean hands, okay, for sure. If you're an everyday go to work thing, you gotta have clean hands. And if you know you're gonna go shoot, and use a grip enhancement thing. There's different gels and stuff you put on that increase your grip, your traction. Now, traction on the gun. This is a little secret I was going to tell you earlier. Never seen this mentioned in a video much. I mean, they say you can get aftermarket grips on your gun. You can do a stippling on the handle and so forth. And I've tried all that stuff. But the most effective way to get traction on the gun, in my opinion, is apply skateboard tape to the gun. And the reason why, that skateboard tape is like a sandpaper that's glued onto the paper. And it's like 1,000 little rocks. And when you first put it on, those little rocks are real sharp, and they will really grip your hand, your skin really, really well. And the beauty of it is that after a while, the rocks get polished just from the movement of your hands getting on the grip, squeezing that little bit of friction between your skin and this sandpaper. It's going to polish these off, and you'll notice after a while that they're not as grippy as it was before. And then you can just change it out, and it's cheap. So I use the Slip Doctors brand grip tape, and whenever my grips get a little bit smooth, I just replace them. And I do that on everything, including my single action armies. I don't know if you notice in my videos, every one of my single action armies, I run a grip tape on it. And I've learned to cut it in different strips so that it wraps around the curve. There's a little bit to it, to learn how to do it right. But very happy with that. And it's a key part of me controlling the recoil with my gun. So that's my little secret of how to, my little extra secret that you're not seeing in a lot of these other videos. Use skateboard tape on the gun. I think it's better than anything. And the neat thing is you can keep replacing it. Okay, so the goal is to get the sights to return to the point of aim. Let's do a little shooting. See if I can demonstrate what I'm talking about, or if I'm just full of hot air. Okay, we're going to try some two-shot groups, double taps, whatever you want to call them, and see if we can get the gun to return to the point of aim. We're going to start with the head. Okay, the right shoulder as my right. Left. Oh, I missed that one. Try it again. Left shoulder. Center. Okay, so that's with the method I was talking about, where I pinch the thumb. It's an improper method. It'd be better to learn the right way, but that's the way I do it. And you can see the gun returns to the point of aim. That's the whole point. Now I'm going to spray that and try a different method. Okay, I've got my target sprayed, and I'm gonna try the conventional method of shooting, what I was telling you, where you don't trap your thumb, that you go thumbs forward like this. I'm just gonna try that. It's not my way. I haven't done it in a long time, but I'm curious if I can do that better. We'll start with the head again. Shoulder. Not quite as tight. Whoops. You know, I'm inconsistent, you know, like that last one was tight and one of the other ones was tight, you know, but it's not the way I normally shoot it. So I think you could probably do it either way, you know, but that way I just showed you is the proper way. So if you stay with that, you'll probably learn that the best. And it is the best way to do it, you know. So let's put 2 of that round steel off to the left. I'll use my method. A little low. Huh, come low again. Tight though. All right, the 6 steel there. And I'm out. Okay, going back to my method of the trap thumbs, I'm going to put 2 on the bigger steel there. Ooh, coming high. Okay, let's try 2 on the small steel. The 6, I'll just go 2 on that one plate. This is the second one. Try the next plate over. Not working. That one worked. I suspect this, in some cases, the steel is dipping out of the way, you know, maybe, or maybe I just missed it. I don't know. In any event, your grip is something you want to continuously work on, and you can get rusty. I'm a bit rusty today, so it's something you want to continue to work on. You can always test yourself by how close you can put 2. See, as I had opened up there, so I need to work on it. So anyway, thanks for joining me on another video, and I will see you on the next one.